Open pit exit, please.
What a beautiful view looking towards the east of Sydney Motorsport Park.
Has been released.
Back to Sydney Harbour and the CBD as the Seiko clock shows a green pit lane exit out of BP Ultimate Pit Lane for our very first runner in the Boost Mobile Top 10 shootout. And what a story this one is, because Will Brown was able to get into this shootout by the narrowest of margins at the back end of qualifying. Went back out on a scrubbed tyre and put together a lap on his own out there on the track together with Jack LeBrock when everybody else had parked up at that point. Used second gear to launch out of there, and a tiny little slide as he grabbed third gear, slipped down the concrete. Andrew Edwards closest to camera, keeping an eye on things in the Red Bull Ampol Racing Team garage, and the number at the end of it is a 29.9. Very hot conditions out there at the moment for our reigning champion. Cam really demonstrates just what a delicate dance it is to get through turn 3. You're trying to get to 100% throttle, but the car won't accept it, nor will the tyres. So it's on the slide through there. And to mitigate the risk, big slide, understeer, massive understeer initially through turn 5, and then it broke away in the rear.
Didn't start the lap that nicely, but the car has certainly got better, and the number at the second cumulative is about the same as Will Brown.
Nice clean exit out of the final corner for Will Davison. Now it's just a question of making efficient shifting all the way down to the line. They're keeping an eye in the bunkers on what's going on. He's got a 100% finish record at this location, and he's just over 13.2. And he's 0.2 of a second behind Will Brown, still the quickest man at the moment. Mid-sector for him was the 39.1. It's about a tenth away from the best number that was achieved by Will Davison. Pulls third gear pretty early in the sequence, getting out of the final corner. He's chasing a 29.9. There's only been one driver in the 29s so far, and that's Will Brown. He's keeping an eagle eye on the monitor down there, and he gets very close, only a tenth of a second away. It was a beautiful job. Position number 2, Will Brown, James Golding, Will Davison, David Reynolds. On current target, he will be in there with Brown and Golding at the sharp end of proceedings.
Really close. This is within a tenth of Brown and Golding. Yes, he does. I was just about to say, was he able to keep it off the outside island and not have too much wheel spin? He was able to do that without the oversteer. He does a nice job at a 30.09, and he split Brown and Golding. He's 1/10 of a second away. So Will Brown continues to forge his way forward.
5 wins, 4 poles at this location, third in the championship last year. Got on the podium on Friday night, was just off it last night by 1 position in position number 4. And he gets to the first timing intermediate. Let's see what the number looks like. And it pops up as the best we've seen thus far. It's a 26.3. He's 100th faster than Will Brown at the first intermediate as he starts to negotiate turn 5.
That's very impressive because he's got green rears only. He had a roaded front tyre. Now, we've seen Chaz put that to good effect through history. That's a policy that he's used quite a lot, but I think they were slightly tyre compromised in terms of having green tyres, and they put fresh, brand new Dunlops on the back.
Nice steady state of the car turning into turn 7, and he just caught a little slide off the exit there. Hairpin right-hander, 70 kilometres an hour at turn number 8. And now we get our second timing reference to share with you, and it's the best we've seen so far. So on target at the moment to potentially knock off Will Brown. But how about Will's form? At one point, he's gone! He's gone! Chaz has tripped over the curb at turn 10, and they drop their heads in the garage. And I was about to reference this guy who's got out of jail so far today. So that's a rare mistake for Chaz Mostert up at the eastern end of the racetrack. So consider that Brown looked like he was going to be out of this, and he's kept on creeping forward, and he's still surviving at the top. Chasing a 29.9, next in the queues, Matt Payne on the 30 flat. Where does Jack drop in here? And he gets it up into 5th position. So he's done a 30.4 in pretty hot and tricky conditions out there, and without the benefit of the tyres. Wags the tail ever so slightly off the top of the hill, and we'll get the next reference here as he exits turn 8. And it looks really good. In fact, it's the best we've seen so far. So Brodie on fire in the middle sector of the racetrack. Right here is where it got lively for Chaz Mostert. Not the case here for Brodie. 1 corner remaining now. A little squirt of throttle in the gap between 10 and 11. He's got the throttle in early in second gear. Pulls third before he even gets to the exit of the corner. This potentially could threaten his old teammate in Will Brown. He's chasing a 1 minute 29.9. And he dusts him by 1/10 of a second. Kostecki does a 1 minute 29.85. And he's got 0.145 over Will Brown. This is going to be a very important lap if he can make that all glue together and be part of that show this afternoon. Fifth gear, turn one, gets his lap underway, Brock Feeney.
Green tyres for Brock, and uses all of the road nicely there through turn one. He was very deep into turn one in terms of his braking application. He trailed the brake really nicely. He kept the mid-corner speed up and had a little bit of a slide. A little bit of oversteer is a good thing. He gets it through turn three nicely. We'll give you that number over the hill, and that's the fastest so far by a 1/10 of a second. Best first sector yet for Feeney.
Beautiful job through four. No evidence of having to chase the back of the car as he came down the hill. Nice work through turn five, a little brake bias adjustment on the run into these little wavy bumps coming into turn six.
Good run up the hill there too, Neil. Come out of there very straight, used a little bit of the curve, but not too much wheel spin.
High degree of accuracy with the amount of space that's being used on the exit of the racetrack to keep the flow going, to open up the car, keep it rolling. Now we'll see what it looks like in the mid-sector and that highly complex bit in the middle of this racetrack. And it comes up as a 38.9. It's about half a tenth away from the number that was achieved by Brodie. This is going to be really close with his teammate and with Brodie. This is where it all got wild last night. At this point, I thought, and perhaps he thought, he might have been able to win race number two. He made a liar of us because it was an unbelievable battle to the flag. He gets down to the control line. Nobody blinks in the garages. How good is it? It's very good. He does a 29.7 to raise the bar. Brock Feeney on the provisional pole with one driver to come.
I had no bloody reference, so I didn't know what I was doing.
He won the night before. He's had 2 pole positions so far. Can he do it again today? We're about to answer that question. He's got a big task in hot conditions out there at the moment. He's chasing a 1 minute 29.7, but he has been the maestro when it comes to one-lap qualifying. He was the top man at the end of Boost Mobile Quali at the end of 2024, and it is a monstrous maximum attack there into that first sector, and have a go at the margin between he and Brock. They're separated by a cigarette paper. It's exactly what it was last night.
Exactly, 1/100th of a second. He gets it stopped out at turn 6. He uses that inside curve to nice effect. Doesn't have too much wheel spin on the way up to Corporate Hill. Turns it in. He's quite aggressive with his initial steering input there, and he's on the throttle hard. We'll give you the next sector right now. To intermediate 2 is on the exit of turn 8. And this will determine whether he's on or he's not. And he is on. This is a great lap.
Pushing so hard. This is where Chaz came unstuck. He's got a bit of a wriggle going into turn 10. He got away with it though. That thing is dancing on the edge. Cam Waters has got it by the scruff of the neck. Out of the final corner. It's a huge attack to try and put together another pole. He's chasing Feeney and a 29.7. Is he going to get there? Yes. Cam Waters grabs his 3rd pole in a row in 2025. 1 minute 29.6 for a 1/10 of a second margin, and a big adrenaline rush through the garage at Tickford, where they've surpassed 300 podiums this weekend.
Beautiful lap, absolutely superb.